After years of struggling with PCOS, I finally found what worked for me. I am super happy to say that with my last blood work done, I no longer fit the criteria of PCOS, so I essentially have cured myself. Hey, I'm Chiqui Linguine, your nutrition and lifestyle coach, and today we're going to talk about PCOS, hormonal imbalances, and how to get your hormones back in track. A little backstory, I was diagnosed with PCOS about 11 years ago, and I was on birth control for 10 years. After 10 years, I decided to remove my IUD and balance my hormones naturally. So that's what I've been doing for the past year, and like I said, it worked. And it was very easy, manageable tips that I did that made a world of a difference. I am now getting my period every single month without any crazy cramps or PMS symptoms. I am bleeding like I'm supposed to be. I don't have crazy cystic acne anymore, and I just feel overall amazing. So these are the super easy, simple steps that I took to regain hormonal balance. The first one was my diet. I removed as much processed foods and sugars as I possibly can. I'm not gonna say I don't eat any, that would be a lie. I eat, processed foods here and there. I have my chips. I love pasta and sugar. I mean, I am a sweet tooth. I love my desserts. But for the most part, definitely Monday through Friday, I really focus on having whole fruits and vegetables and proteins and non-processed meals. So my breakfast, lunch, and dinners are all things that I make at home with minimal ingredients. I make sure that all of my meals have at least 30 grams of protein. Protein is like key to this. You need to eat lots of protein to keep you feeling full and satiated until your next meal. I stopped snacking because snacking is just not the best. You're constantly putting food in your body. You're constantly making your digestive system work. You're constantly having your insulin spike, which, if you didn't know, PCOS is basically an insulin resistance disease. So if you have PCOS, you are struggling with insulin, which means you're struggling with blood sugar. So once I figured all of that out, I realized that the diet is super important. So no more late night snacks, no more dessert super late. If I do eat dessert, it is immediately after my meal so that the meal helps balance out the sugars. If you were to eat dessert on an empty stomach, it does way more damage on your blood sugar than if you were to eat it after your meals. So again, I did not remove desserts and sweets. I am just strategically placing them directly after my meals, and I don't eat them all the time anymore. And same goes for the processed foods. I will still go to restaurants and have pasta, or even have pasta at home if I'm feeling lazy, and that's always a quick meal and I love it. But I really try to then load up on the fiber from vegetables before eating the pasta, and I have lots of protein with it. I cannot emphasize enough how important protein is for our hormones, for our digestive system, and for everything in between. So stock up on that protein, on animal protein. It's the only protein that has all the essential amino acids that we need to have a healthy body. I started exercising more regularly, and that does not mean I did rigorous, crazy exercises. I literally started with walks. I made a goal for myself that I was going to walk every Monday through Friday, and it was life-changing. Honestly, it helped so much with managing my stress and my anxiety, which I just did not expect that to happen. But walking became therapeutic for me. And in doing so, I was moving my body, I was exercising, which is super good for your hormones, but I was also managing my stress, which is like, I'm just gonna tag it along. That's step 2 and 3, exercise and manage your stress. Managing your stress is just so important for hormone health, because if we are stressed, our cortisol levels are up, and if our cortisol levels are up, then our hormones are out of whack. So easier said than done. Obviously, everybody knows how important it is to minimize our stress, but it's so important, especially when we're talking about hormone health, because there's no way that your body can manage your hormones and regulate them if your cortisol level is jacked up through the roof. And then I just thought about this, but with the diet, I completely forgot to mention fats. Healthy fats are essential for us to be eating, in addition to the protein and the fiber that I was talking about. but healthy fats is super important because our brain is literally made up from fat, and our brain is where our hormones are made. So if you are eating a low fat diet, you're putting stress on your brain, you're not giving your brain enough power, and then it doesn't have the power to then produce the hormones that you need. So of course your hormones are going to be out of whack. So eat your fat. Fat does not make you fat. Fat fuels your brain. So eat your fat, have olive oil, have butter, have those avocados, olives, get your cheese, eat that fat. It is so good for you and so necessary. The fourth tip is morning sunlight. It does not sound like it's gonna do any difference. You may not think it does, but it does. It makes a huge difference in your circadian rhythm, and that is going to help. Again, everything in your body is connected. So if your circadian rhythm is more regulated and you're able to sleep at night better because you're seeing the sun exposure in the morning, it's wakening your brain, it's telling your brain, hey, it's sunlight. When you do that, naturally you're going to produce more melatonin at night, so you're going to sleep better at night. So this one is another tag along. 5 is you need adequate sleep. Sleep is very, very important for balancing our hormones and for flushing out toxins in our body. The only time that your brain gets to flush out toxins is when you're in deep sleep, when you're in REM sleep. So if you are a light sleeper or you're barely sleeping at night because you're staying up all night watching Netflix and then you have to wake up early, that's bad. I know that you know it's bad, but you gotta sleep so that your hormones and so that your brain, so your brain can release the excess toxins and hormones out of your body. It is the only time. Our body has a lymphatic system to remove toxins, and that works while moving. That's why exercise is so important, because it's flushing out your toxins. All your joints have lymphs, and when you move around, that naturally like massages them and releases the toxins. But the only way that your brain could do that is at night in deep sleep. So get your sleep so that you can regulate your brain and the toxins can get released. And then the 6th tip is to hydrate. We need to be drinking lots of room temperature water to keep our hydration up. And sometimes you can be drinking all this water and you're still dehydrated and you still don't feel well. And that's because water does not mean, like if you're pounding back water, it does not mean that you're gonna be hydrated. You need to be pounding back water with minerals that is actually gonna hydrate you. So super simple, easy tip is to put some Himalayan salt into your water, and that is going to really spike up your mineral intake. Another easy way to like add some oomph to your water is to have teas. Herbal teas are amazing. You can have ginger and turmeric tea with some lemon. That's really anti-inflammatory, which is gonna also help with your gut, and everything starts in your gut. So if you heal your gut, you're also going to be healing your hormones. So having lots of teas and room temperature water is key to hormone health. And that is it. Those are the 6 simple tips that I have for you. They are not groundbreaking. I am sure you've heard of every single one of these tips before, not once, probably a bunch of times, but they work. I am here to tell you that I am PCOS free. My hormones are balanced. I feel great. Like I said, I have no acne, and it works. You just need to be doing it mindfully, managing your stress, eating right, going to sleep, exercising, and balancing your blood sugar. I didn't really dive into that because I'm going to talk about that in next week's episode, but PCOS really is an insulin resistance issue. And if you're balancing your blood sugar, then you don't need to spike up your insulin. Your blood sugar will be balanced and it helps your hormones. So again, I'm going to dive into that next week. But this week, I hope you had some easy takeaways and that you can see some benefit and some balance in your hormones when you start these tips. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I have new content every Wednesday at 3 p.m.